This edition of MacVoices is sponsored by Linode, high-performance cloud hosting for everyone. Visit linode.com/MacVoices and take $20 off your first server package. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. And folks, this is a special MacVoices briefing. 5 things to do to get ready to come out of lockdown. You've probably binged on just about all the Netflix you can stand. You've watched all the Apple TV Plus series that you're interested in. You've probably watched a few extra movies along the way, and you're just sort of sick of staring at the screens. You may be working from home. You may have been not working from home. I don't know. But we're seeing across the country, some states, some cities start to come out of lockdown in phases. So I don't know exactly what your situation is, but we are going to come out of this eventually. And so I want to suggest a few things that you can do to prepare to come out of lockdown, to make your Mac the best it can be and be ready for whenever it is you go back to work or whatever you do. So let's get started. Number 1, get rid of junk email and unsubscribe from spam. This one is going to be a little bit difficult for me to give you specific guidance on, but I would tell you that it's well worth some time. Maybe you're listening to some music or still watching something on Netflix, and just go through your spam folder or your junk folder or whatever and look at what has come in and see if there are unsubscribe links, especially if these come from any kind of credible companies that may have picked up your email address from who knows, wherever they pick up your email address from. If you click those unsubscribe links, a healthy part of the time, you are actually going to be unsubscribing because of some of the laws that have been passed in the last few years with regard to spam and requiring unsubscribe links. Now, that doesn't mean you cancel everything or get rid of everything. You have to be careful of what you're unsubscribing from. But I know I went through and cleaned out a lot of things, and frankly, my spam went down. So it's whether you're training your email program to recognize spam or have a third-party utility you use, or again, if it's just something as simple as going through that spam folder, unsubscribing, that's going to cut down on the amount of spam. And it also has the potential to cut down on the amount of spam that you might get going forward. Because if you've gone off one list, that's one less email address that somebody else can sell or pass on to someone else. So think about taking a little time, getting some of that junk cleaned out, and taking care of the spam. If you are a SaneBox subscriber, and I have to tell you, I love SaneBox. This is not a sponsorship spot, although they have been a sponsor in the past. I love SaneBox. They have a thing called the Sane Black Hole. And it's something where the way they filter your email, you can put something in the same black hole, and anything else that comes in from that sender will just go straight to the black hole. You'll never see it. I'm not going to do a training session on that. That's something you can look up yourself. But definitely check out SaneBox if you are interested in having even more control over your email. Number 2, clean out old files, both automatically and manually. This is another one that it's kind of difficult for me to give you specific ideas because I don't know how you work or what kind of old files may be clogging up your system. One of the first steps you can use is to use Clean My Mac X from MacPaw. And under the heading of full disclosure, MacPaw is a sponsor of MacVoices right now, but that's not why I'm recommending it. I'm recommending it because it works really, really well. It will scan your system. It will give you the option to delete what it thinks are junk files. And that's what I like about it, because it doesn't just say, oh, we're going to clean out anything that is here. It gives you the option and lets you see what it is you're going to be getting rid of. And then, of course, if nothing else, there's the old manual option of going through your downloads folder or your documents folder, your files on your desktop, wherever you store your files. There are a lot of things there that I guarantee you don't need to have. And I'm not sure they're exactly completely slowing down your system. They're probably not helping it, but they're definitely taking up disk space that you pay a lot of money for. So it might be worth an afternoon or an evening or, an hour, maybe less, of just going through those and saying, hey, do I really need this? Do I really want this? And maybe if it's something you want to archive, you move it off your laptop or off your Mac's main drive, put it in long-term storage, whether that's an external hard drive, or a RAID or something like a Drobo or a Synology. Those are good places to store that stuff. Or Apple iCloud, iCloud Drive, Dropbox, something that you can still get to those. And those are not backups. Let's be real clear on that. But they are options to put some files into long-term storage. So give it a try, see what you think. But it will definitely help to make your Mac a little bit leaner and a little bit meaner. Number 3, get your Mac up to date. A couple levels to this one, folks. The Mac OS does a really good job of letting you know when there are new updates out there. Sometimes they're simple as a security update. Sometimes they're a lot more involved. And if you pay attention to the Mac world at all, you probably know when a new significant version of the OS is out. But it definitely does not hurt to make sure that your system is completely updated. The second level, of course, though, is your applications. Developers are constantly updating their apps, which is a good thing, both from a security and a performance standpoint. Now, you could go through and start to launch apps and do the check updates thing, and that just can take up a lot of time, and frankly, you'll probably miss some things. But if you use MacUpdater, which is what I've been doing, and I'm kind of surprised at times about the updates that I don't know are out there. Now, some are not major updates, but they're updates for some reason. And so I like the idea of letting MacUpdater do its thing, tell me what apps I need to update. There's some that it can't update automatically because the developer hasn't written that into the code. But for the most part, at the very least, let's put it this way, at the very least, it'll tell you that there's an update that's out there. And in most cases, with just a click, it will do the update for you so that you are up and running. And it's a great way to just scan your entire hard drive, see all the apps that are on there, and make sure that they are up to date. So get up to date. It makes you more secure, and it most likely will improve the performance of your Mac. MacVoices is supported by Linode. You can build it on Linode. A robust online presence is important anytime, but even more so right now. You need your website or your hosted services to be as stable and secure as possible. But you also need to have those services as responsive as possible. And that's why you need Linode. If you already have a site, take a look at how long it takes to load. If it seems slow, you should look into Linode. Their native SSD storage, 40 gigabit network, and industry-leading processors make sure that your site will load as quickly as possible. And a fast-loading site means more business. If you're looking to build a new site or deploy new services, you should look at Linode for the same reason, but also because of their 10 worldwide data centers, so that your site can be hosted where it needs to be, not where the service provider thinks it should be. And you want to be sure that your site is easy to keep up. Linode makes deployment and maintenance easy with their tools to provision, secure, monitor, and back up your server. And that's just the beginning. So right now, go find out what Linode can do for you at linode.com/MacVoices. That's Linode, linode.com/MacVoices, and take $20 off your first server package. Linode.com/MacVoices to take $20 off your first server package. Get started now and have your new server up and online in no time. Thanks to Linode for their support of MacVoices. Number 4, tune up your Mac. The Mac OS itself does a pretty good job of maintaining itself, but once in a while it's a good idea to maybe help it out a little. So first, I would look at Clean My Mac X from MacPaw. We talked about that as far as getting rid of old files, but it also has some optimization features in there that are definitely very nice to run, and you may or may not see a performance improvement. Another utility I can recommend is Cocktail. It is a utility that will run some of the Mac system activities that if you leave your Mac on all the time, Mac OS will run them for you. Cocktail will force them to run at your command on your schedule rather than the Mac schedule, and keeps things cleaned up a little bit. And something like Grand Perspective or Daisy Disk is a great utility to run to take a look at files that are on your disk and see where a lot of your space is being used up, and then decide if that's a good thing or whether you can get rid of some of those files, again, under the heading of trying to speed things up. It's a little bit different approach than Clean My Mac X does, but it's definitely useful, and it gives you kind of a window into exactly how the space on your drive is being used. So go check out those utilities, get your Mac optimized and running the way it should. Number 5, Review your subscriptions. Okay, this isn't exactly a Mac performance thing, but it's more of a financial performance thing. It's a good idea periodically to go in and check out the subscriptions you have in iTunes to utilities that maybe you're not using anymore, services that you may have subscribed to. It's possible that some games have some subscriptions built in. Go in, take a look at what's there. Hopefully you won't have anything that you don't realize that you're paying for. But if you do, and if you decide it's something that is just not worth it to you anymore, by all means, cancel the subscription. I don't want to take subscription revenue away from anybody. That's not it. But I want to make sure that you are just paying attention to what you're doing. That's step one. Step two is then pull out your last credit card statement, or 2 or 3 or 4, and just do a quick scan again for those subscription services that you may have forgotten about having, and decide whether, again, they are worth keeping or whether there's something you can get rid of or want to get rid of and save that little bit of money. It's not going to save you hundreds of dollars, but it may save enough for a night out for dinner once we can all go out for dinner again. Number 6, and this is a bonus, take advantage of free and inexpensive online training. One of the harsh realities of the COVID-19 situation and the lockdown is that a lot of people have lost their jobs. Some people have had their jobs cut back. Some people are waiting to see what's going to happen. And the simple fact of the matter is that some businesses are not going to come back after the lockdown. So it's a great time for you maybe to take advantage of some of the inexpensive or free online training that's out there. Now, I'd love to tell you that here are 5 things to go check out, and I'm not even going to pretend to try to do that because I don't know what your interests are. I don't know what business you're in or were in, or maybe what business you'd like to be in. So I will encourage you, though, to go and check out all the training you can find. I mean, something as simple as Googling training for whatever it is that you're looking to be trained in is a great way to start. And if you can take advantage of learning how to do things with your Mac a little bit better, maybe just having a few extra skills that you can take to your employer or an employer when the time comes, it's free. And you've got the time to do it right now. So by all means, go check it out. So those are a few things you can do as we all prepare, hopefully, to come out of lockdown in the next few weeks. I hope that it helps you. I hope it gave you some things to think about and maybe some resources that you can use. I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices. We'll be back with more. As always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices, or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.